So there I was, scrolling through Twitter at 2 a.m., watching some 24-year-old crypto millionaire explain how he turned $5,000 into $2 million in 18 months. And I had this thought that I know you've had too. What if I just did exactly what they do? Look, I'm not going to pretend I'm some investment guru, but for the past 30 days, I completely abandoned my boring traditional investment strategy and went full crypto millionaire mode. I'm talking 4 a.m. chart watching, buying coins I couldn't even pronounce, and making decisions that would make my financial advisor cry. And what happened? Well, it's not what you think. Stick around because by the end of this video, you're gonna understand why most people get crypto investing completely backwards. Here's what I did. I took $3,000, money I could afford to lose, and that's crucial, and I studied 5 actual crypto millionaires. Not the scammers, but people who verifiably made their money in crypto and were willing to share their strategies. Now, you might be thinking, oh, they just got lucky and bought Bitcoin early. And yeah, some did. But here's the thing most people miss. These guys didn't just buy and pray. They had actual systems. So I made a list of their common strategies. They allocated 60 to 70% to established cryptocurrencies. They put 20 to 30% into what they called high conviction altcoins. And get this, they kept 10% in stablecoins for buying the dip. The average person, they do the opposite. They throw everything into whatever coin their cousin mentioned at Thanksgiving. That's not investing, that's gambling with extra steps. I split my $3,000 the same way. $1,800 into Bitcoin and Ethereum, $900 into 3 smaller projects I actually researched, and $300 in USDC just waiting. Day 1, I felt like a genius. Day 2, not so much. Bro, let me tell you about week 1. Bitcoin dropped 8% in a single day. That's $144 of my money gone. Just poof. And here's where the psychology gets interesting. When you check your portfolio every hour, which I did, you feel every single swing. There's actually research on this called loss aversion. Psychologists found that the pain of losing money is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining it. So when I was down $144, my brain was screaming at me like I'd lost $288. But when I was up $130 the next day, it felt fine. Not exciting, just fine. This is where most people blow up their accounts. They sell in panic, buy in FOMO, and basically do the exact opposite of what works. Now, here's what the millionaires do differently. And this genuinely surprised me. They barely looked at their portfolios. One guy I studied checked his maybe twice a week. Another had notifications turned off completely. Why? Because they understood something crucial. Your emotions are the biggest threat to your returns. Not market crashes, not regulations, your own brain trying to protect you by selling low and buying high. Rule number 1, they take profits religiously. When one of my altcoins went up 40% in week 2, I wanted to hold for more, but the Millionaire playbook said take 25% off the table. So I sold $90 worth. That coin, down 30% the next week. That $90 I took out, it saved me from giving back all those gains. Real numbers. If you turn $1,000 into $1,400 and you don't take any profit, you need to be right about it going higher. If it drops back to $1,000, you just rode a roller coaster to nowhere. But if you take $100 out at $1,400, even if it crashes, you're up $100. It's basic math, but emotionally, it's incredibly hard to do. Rule number 2, they have a stop caring price. One millionaire told me, I decide before I buy, at what price do I admit I was wrong. So when I bought Solana at $98, I decided if it hits $78, I'm out. No questions, no hoping, no waiting for it to come back. That's a 20% loss threshold. Guess what? It hit $94 and I was sweating. But I didn't sell because my rule was $78, not whenever I feel nervous. Here's the thing people don't get. The goal isn't to never lose money.
The goal is to lose small and win big. If you risk 20% to make 100%, you can be wrong 4 times and right once and still make money.
Rule number 3. They obsess over what they don't understand. Before this experiment, I would have bought a coin because someone said it's gonna moon. Now, I spend hours understanding why Ethereum is switching to proof of stake, what that means for issuance, and how it affects value. And yeah, it's boring. It's not sexy. But you know what's really not sexy? Losing money on something you never understood. So after 30 days, here's what happened. My $3,000 turned into $3,680. That's a 22.6% return in 1 month. Now, before you open Coinbase, let me hit you with some reality. Most of that gain came from one coin that I got lucky on. My total portfolio was up 22%, but if you remove that one winner, I was only up about 7%. Still good, but not quit your job money. And here's what nobody tells you. That 22% gain, the stress wasn't worth it. I slept worse, I was checking prices during dinner, I snapped at my partner because Bitcoin dipped while we were watching a movie. The millionaires I studied, they did this for years before they made life-changing money. We're talking 2016, 2017, buying Bitcoin at $600 and holding through drops to $300. Could you do that? Could you watch your money cut in half and not sell? Most people can't, and that's okay. That's actually smart. Here's what I really learned. Crypto millionaires aren't successful because they take wild risks.
They're successful because they take calculated risks, manage their emotions better than everyone else, and, this is key, they only invest money they can afford to lose completely.
That last part, that's the real secret. When you invest money you can't afford to lose, every dip feels like a catastrophe. When you invest money you've already said goodbye to, you can actually think clearly.
Look, I'm not telling you to go copy what I did. In fact, if you're not willing to spend hours learning about blockchain, tokenomics, and market cycles, you probably shouldn't be buying altcoins at all.
But here's what you should do. Whatever you invest in, whether it's crypto, stocks, or real estate, invest like a millionaire.
See, the plan works for Bitcoin,
not
real
like a
estate,
gambler.
and stocks. Same
That
approach
means
every
having a
time.
plan
Consistency is
before you
key.
buy. Knowing when you'll sell both on the upside and downside, and never ever investing money that you need for rent or groceries. Because here's the truth, the market doesn't care about your hopes, your dreams, or how much you need this to work. It just is. The only thing you can control is your behavior. So if you're gonna get into this game, get in with your eyes open, your emotions in check, and a plan you can stick to when everything goes sideways. If this video helped you see investing differently, smash that like button. Subscribe if you want more real talk about money without the BS. And drop a comment. Are you investing in crypto? Or does this whole thing still feel like gambling to you?